Now Pedersen to blast all that hit. Provo diving save hard as he flashes across. Briere sets up Carl, side of the net, deflected, score! Briere moving in, stops, cuts to the middle, still has it, shot! Score! Here's Hughes giving it across. Oh, what a save! Save by Maher! He's in angle! Short-handed mid! He scores! Up top, cruising is Provorov. He scores! Ivan Provorov!
Okay, before we get into any cursing, anything, let's just get the intro out of the way. What's going on, everyone? It's been a while. Welcome back to the Fired Up Podcast. I'm your host, Amedeo Grassia, along with my partner, Maher. And yeah, like I said, it's been a while. Schedules have been busy, but we're back today. It's been 2 weeks. So I guess perfect word to describe what the hell we've been going through tonight is what the fuck. I think that's the perfect word to describe this entire game. The game,
so.
and the Flyers are currently losing 9-0 to the New York Rangers, and everything sucks. This team sucks. And I know, Chris, you are really mad. Let's get your anger out. Let's get your anger out right now.
I think the big question is, where do I begin? I mean, I could sit here and scream all night. I just did. Like, should I begin at the beginning of the game, or in the middle of the game, or like, where should I begin? Because like,
wherever you want to begin,
the lines to start off were terrible. Listen, I like the JVR Couturier Farabee line. Okay, I get it. It's played well. Whatever. Break it up. Lawton with Hayes and Konechny hasn't done a goddamn thing since it's been put together. Giroux at center makes absolutely no sense at all when, again, just had one of his best games of the season, the last game. But no, why don't we just put Michael Raffl with him when Patrick and Jake had a relatively good game as well? That's brilliant. Why don't we bench a guy who's going through cancer and all that stuff? I don't really understand the benching of Lindblom. I don't necessarily think any guy you could put in could do any better. Like, what is the purpose of putting Andrioff in the lineup? I would rather have Lindblom in there. What is the point? Patrick at fourth line center isn't going to do a fucking thing. And at this point, I don't even know what to say anymore. Because you know what? The D pairs, they're just, like
trash.
You arguably took out your second best defenseman in Ghost. You just took him out. For what? For Gustafsson? For Hag? The two of them have been terrible this year. This team's issue is not goaltending. This team's issue is defense.
Mm-hmm.
It is defense.
Yes.
Their defense sucks. It sucks. It's the same system as last year. It's one less guy. One less guy. That doesn't mean you should just continuously play like you have no idea what you're doing out there every single night. This is game 27 of 56. Tomorrow night is the halfway point. Tomorrow night. And you're playing that bad. Still. Like, this team hasn't played a good game all year. All year. Maybe two. Maybe one. Maybe the back-to-back, maybe against Buffalo, were probably their two best games this season. That's it. This is the fourth time you've been embarrassed. 2 6-1 losses in the first 6 games of the season. A 7-3 loss on national television in the most watched game on NBC Sports history. Over 1 million-something viewers, and you lose 7-3. Yes, you're down half your lineup, but I don't care. 9-0 on national television?
To the Rangers.
To the Rangers of all teams, who don't even have their coaches on the bench. They don't even have them. It's their AHL coaches and their assistant friggin' GM on their bench.
And 2 of those AHL coaches used to be a part of the Flyers coaching staff.
Yes.
Chris Knobloch and Gordon Murphy.
Yes.
Ooh.
What the hell? Like, this is a joke, man.
Well, it's not a good day entirely. I just got an update that the Sixers lost 2 to the Milwaukee Bucks in overtime. But the Sixers, I have no problems with. They're a fantastic team. The team that we're talking about right now are the Philadelphia Flyers, and just how incredibly frustrating this team is. It's like what you said, Chris. They haven't played a good game all year. Like what you said, maybe 2 games they played. that were good this year. The 2 shutouts against Buffalo in the back-to-back a couple of weeks ago. But where have we been since then? You lose 2 out of 3 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. You lose 3 out of 4 to the Washington Capitals. You go to a shootout against the Buffalo team when you were down 3-1. And now you are getting your asses manhandled to you by the New York Rangers 9-0. Even though you beat the Rangers on Monday, you beat them. Came back and won it overtime. This game,
they didn't even really play to deserve to even win that game at times.
They didn't. No, they didn't. I just don't know how to explain it anymore. It's like I've ran out of energy. I've ran out of energy.
Record. Like, how many times do I got to say defense, their structure, turnovers, the lines? Like, they have had literally the same lineup for, I think, 9 games.
It's like you said.
I don't understand Walton in the top 6.
As much
because
as
your fourth line, at that point, your fourth line is irrelevant. It's like you shouldn't even play them.
Yes.
Like, why isn't the fourth line Albie Kubel, Lawton, Raffle? Why isn't it? Because you like Lawton with Hayes? Come on.
It's what you said, Chris. As much as I love the way Coots, JVR, and Farabee are playing together as a line, and that line has been absolutely fantastic over the so many past few weeks, you got to switch it up. You got to switch it up.
And it looks like they already did. They started the third period with G, Couturier, Voracek. I said that after the first period. I was like, put G with Coots and Voracek. And
I think they put Farabee and JVR with either Lawton or Hayes. I forget who it was. And then I'm assuming Lawton either got moved down to like a third line or something like that. It was just a mismatch of the lines. I honestly don't give a damn, because even though I'm watching this game purely for the entertainment purposes, there's 3.5 minutes left in the third period as they're losing 9-0. And for this, I just want to give like a humble apology to guys like Carter Hart and Brian Elliott for having to go through this monstrosity to that. Like, seriously, how is a 22-year-old goaltender that's going through confidence issues going to gain any type of confidence when he's going into a game where it's already 5-0, and then continue with the difference?
How is this team going to gain any confidence losing games 9-0?
They're not. And my question
has to do something.
He does.
I don't know
what he's going to do. That's the question. Because they've been saying
I don't think that's what it is, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
you're good.
I think it's when, not what, because they're not just going to trade guys now because they're losing and make it like they're desperate, because they'll get hosed.
Yeah,
they'll get hosed in a deal.
Yes.
We already know what we already knew this before Bob McKenzie even said it, but just to clear it up, it was a first-round pick, a top guy, prospect, one of those real high-end guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ekholm. And it's going to be a roster player, too.
Yeah.
So take that for whatever you want to do with it. You can put that in different ways, whether it's, it could be anybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. I don't think Fletcher is... I don't know, because I said all this stuff before the 9-0 loss, so who knows what he thinks now.
Yeah, that's like, this game could change your perspective entirely of the entire team, and like you thought something the other day when they beat them 5-4. Okay, maybe I just have to bring in the depth guys for the defense, but okay, we lost 9-0 and the same mistakes continue to happen. Maybe I have to make a big move. Maybe I have to sacrifice something to make this team better. And that's the question that's going to be surrounding the next few days, tomorrow, the weekend, and the trade deadline isn't still until, what is it, April 12th? So a little under a month before the trade deadline happens. So he's going to make a move sooner rather than later, because the team just can't keep playing like this. They just can't. It's not possible. It's inexcusable. I think that's the word I should be using. Inexcusable. You just can't be playing like this. And I want to get some. I know there's a lot of people in the chat currently So we got a Guido Valenti saying, I think you love the contract of Eric Gustafson. Yeah, we all know the situation with Eric Gustafson. I know there's a bunch of comments saying here, like who is replacing Alain Vigneault. And personally, guys, I don't see this. I know Alain Vigneault, no one was a fan of the lines today. I just think this is a team issue. This is not a coaching issue. I don't think if you bring in a new coach, the team just magically plays better. I just don't see it. I think this is
losing the locker room a little.
I mean, how do you lose the locker room after one season? That's not. I don't think that's realistic. How do you lose it after 1 year?
NHL coaches ain't say it's not safe, regardless of what you did. I mean, listen, I shouldn't say that. I think AV's done a really good enough job last year to where he could still be safe this year if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
but he's made some worrisome moves. And before it was like, okay, well, they're getting results. They're winning games. Now you have lost, 7 of your last 9?
At least.
They're not getting results anymore. Do something.
No.
And I don't necessarily think it's AV. I think it's the team. Like, I don't blame AV at all.
No.
I don't. But it's the team. And they just, oh, my God. I mean... Oh my God.
And I see a comment right here from Dave T saying, Babcock, here we come. Dude, Babcock got fired from the Toronto Maple Leafs, who were the quote-unquote a couple of years ago, one of the teams that beat for the Stanley Cup, and he could never get that team going, and he made a lot of Toronto fans very frustrated. I feel like if Babcock was in this city, you'd be very frustrated as well. So, no, Mike Babcock is not coming to the Flyers. And it's just... And like even Guida right here saying Fletcher has a big job to do now. Yeah, Fletcher has a lot under his belt to do something because you just can't sit on your ass anymore. I know there's been so many comments from saying, oh, I like our team and blah, 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 blah. You might have to sacrifice something if you want to help this team. You might. Whether that's a first round pick, whether that's a guy on the roster, whether that's a prospect, you got to sacrifice something if you want to help this team.
Yeah. I can't see them going through more of this season without doing something, but I just don't know when he does it. You can't do it right now after a 9-0 loss. You're going to get screwed.
Yeah, you're going to get screwed.
You can't.
I don't know if that's after tomorrow's game, or do you do it sometime next week? You just assess everything that's going on and then you make your move or something like that. But just something has to change. Something has to change. And I'm still just like confused how, like what you said earlier, Chris, how one guy in Matt Niskanen, losing him has made our defense 100 times worse. I don't know how that's possible. Is it just the presence that Matt Niskanen brings, even though Matt Niskanen isn't this amazing out-of-this-world defenseman? Was it just his presence in the locker room, his presence on the blue line that just made our guys comfortable and allowed them to play their game? I don't know how that's like Travis Sanheim and Phil Myers. Those guys have looked 100 times worse this season. They were great last year. They were on the ice tonight for the first 6 goals of the game. They're a -6 tonight. Those guys have been trash for a while this season.
I mean, I'm not blaming the game on them, though.
I'm not blaming it solely on them either. I'm just like pointing some guys out.
Oh yeah, they were abysmal tonight.
Like guys like
that is arguably the worst game they've played in a decade.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer.
Yes.
Like when was the last time they've had lost like 7-0, but 9-0.
Oof.
Forget about it.
I can't tell you the last time we got close to losing the double digits. I think the last time the Flyers actually lost on a double-digit game was probably the playoff game against Pittsburgh in 2012 when they lost, what was it, like 10 something to 2? I think something like that.
10-3 in game 4.
Yeah, that's just I see a comment right here from Matthew saying we're wasting Hart's career. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Stop overreacting to that fact. Carter Hart is 22 years old. It's not like after this season he's going to be a terrible goaltender. Just stop. There's just something you have to change with the team. And this game just ended. Rangers win 9-0. This is their largest win since 1986. The Rangers' largest win it was a 9-0 win against the New Jersey Devils, 1986. So,
Love breaking records.
Yep. Oh God. We got Jack saying trade Nolan Patrick and Scott Lawton for McDavid and Draisaitl. Man, I would wish that would happen. If we could get McDavid and Draisaitl.
I think someone would have to snort coke for that to go through.
Robert Hagen III for McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Oh God. I just don't. I'm running out of. It's like what you said, Chris. It's a broken record. Broken record. We just don't know. We just don't know. And Go Caps in the chat saying trade Couturier for Eichel. No, thank you. Love. It's not Sean Couturier is not the problem. And we got a Davey Swag saying we're breaking the wrong records here.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're breaking the wrong records. Definitely. We've got Ryan in the chat saying he's been saying for years, even during last year's run, not just recently, the Flyers' style of play is very bad. I mean, here we go. Here we go from your father. Giroux needs to get the C removed from him. Ed, just stop. Just stop. Just stop.
This is every time, and I'm not picking on you, Dad. You're not the only one that does this. This is every night. Like, dude, they could lose the game in like a shootout or something or overtime, and
you got to strip
they
the
didn't
C.
win because of the letter on Giroux's on G's jersey, as if like the other 6 years, if that letter was on any other player, the team would have had different issues and this like that. Like, they still would have been horrible regardless of who was captain. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like, you don't think Giroux isn't mad after tonight's game?
I'm sure he's pissed.
Hayes, Provorov, Couturier, the 5 guys in their leadership core, the biggest leadership core they've had since what? The Lindros era? Maybe Jason Smith? I don't know. Like, But no. Why don't we just blame Giroux when you have 2 defensemen that were -6 and everybody was terrible? But
yeah, Giroux is the guy to blame for every single goal that happens to this team.
I'm just going to ignore the question when it comes up half the time at this point.
Yes. And he's responding, big deal. What is he doing about it? Nothing. I don't know what
to do.
I don't know what you mean by it, Ed. Like, what, do you want Claude Giroux to be Sidney Crosby? Because he's not Sidney Crosby. He's not Sidney Crosby. He's not a leader. That's just a flat out lie. That is just a flat out lie. And now we got Dave in the comments saying, "Show me the leadership and call these clowns out." Why is leadership now the question? Why is it?
They have 5 guys on their leadership and their leadership core. If that's not leadership, I don't know what is. Like, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Like,
because you have Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, Sean Couturier, Kevin Hayes, and Ivan Provorov as your guys that flip flop between the alternate captains.
Mm-hmm.
So keep drinking the Kool-Aid, Ed. Okay, Ed. I'll leave it there.
There's no Kool-Aid to be drunk. Like, I don't.
Ed, you're just a simple Giroux hater. That's all you are.
I don't really know like what it is like.
You've been saying it for years, Ed. Ed, you are one of the few people that hate Giroux. You are just a common Giroux hater.
He says it all the time, and he'll be like, "Oh, he's not even a good player." I'm like, he said it before, where it's like, "Oh, they shouldn't even re-sign him and this and that." And I watch it, and he'll deny it too.
And Ed, you were a guy that just wants Claude Giroux to fail. You have, for some reason, all this.
There's so many guys like that.
You don't hate G. You think he's a good player. Then why you want the captaincy stripped from him? He's the best player and one of the best players in franchise history.
He's a top 10 player of the 2010s. He's like top 3 in just about every point category you could think of.
He's not a leader. What are you talking about?
What does he do?
A leader doesn't single-handedly drive the team to win the Stanley Cup.
He says this, but doesn't back it up. He'll say, "Oh, he's not a good leader," but then doesn't explain why.
What?
Because the team is bad. Like, that's not his fault. Like, that's like, listen. saying Giroux is not a good leader is literally, it's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And I hear it all the time because obviously I live with my dad. Like,
no, Zach, he's not trolling. He doesn't.
no,
think
like
Giroux's
he's
a good
actually
leader.
serious. Like I'll talk to him about this after we're done here. Like, I don't understand what would have been different if anyone else was the captain in any of the years the team was bad. He carried the team to the playoffs in 2017-18 when you had a hobbled, injured, broken Brian Elliott in net. You know, Michael Neuwirth, who couldn't stay healthy for God knows how long. You had him. It was Jay, Coots, Ghost, and Voracek. They were the four guys that put the team on their back and pretty much did everything for them that year. At a 102-point season, was snubbed of MVP. The 13-14 year, they get into the playoffs.
He manhandled the team to the playoffs. Where he carried the team.
Yes. In 2016, they were a wild card team. Shouldn't even have made the playoffs, but again, management wanted them to, and all this stuff. But Hextall wanted to go the other way. But again, that's Giroux's fault for some odd reason. Let's just blame G because our general manager didn't want to make a trade or did nothing when he literally was rebuilding the team in front of everybody's eyes. But whatever.
It's Giroux's fault.
Yeah, it's Giroux's fault because just because he has the C, it's his fault. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, that's like saying, like, if the Penguins have a bad season, that's like them saying, oh, Crosby shouldn't do this or he shouldn't do that. It's the stupidest thing. It is the stupidest thing.
How is G supposed to win a Stanley Cup over the years when he had guys like Chris Van de Velde, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Ryan White on his fourth line, when he had guys like Brandon Manning,
The
Nick
last
Schultz?
2 years are the only 2 years this team had an actual good bottom six.
Yes.
You can't do shit in the playoffs without a bottom six.
No, you can't.
So I don't want to hear that at all. I don't understand. You can't expect your star players to show up every night in the playoff.
No, you can't.
In the playoffs. You can't expect that. The bottom six has to do something for you. And, what's he done in the playoffs? What's he done in the playoffs? Again, you could sit there and say that all you want, but were they really even a playoff team? Because, I don't really think they were, and I think they were kind of forced to make the playoffs, because, again, you have Comcast that owns them, so that also factors into it. And again, and watch, people will deny that too, because if that doesn't mean anything.
But I want to. This comment right here from Micah is the perfect. G is not the problem. Harden's not bad. He's young. Give him time. I could understand people not being patient anymore. I can understand not being.
It's irrelevant.
But
it's irrelevant because these people think if they have one bad year, that
it's all
their
over.
Careers are done and then they're just going to retire when they're 33. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Look how long it took Tampa to win a Stanley Cup with that core.
Washington.
Look how long it took Washington. Things take time. You don't build a cup contender overnight. I'm sorry, we're not the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're not the Pittsburgh Penguins who were gifted two generational talents in Malkin and Crosby. We're not gifted like that.
No.
And hey, look at the Edmonton Oilers. They got two generational talents in Draisaitl and McDavid, and they're not going anywhere. They're just not.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand what you expect Giroux to do. Like, the amount of times he's had unbelievable games this year and put the team on his back is incredible. But still, we blame him because they lost 9-0. Sure, that's brilliant. Don't just blame him. Blame the team.
Yes.
Claude Giroux is not the only player that plays for Philadelphia Flyers, the last time I checked. I didn't know Giroux was -9 tonight. Like, he's not the reason they lost 9-0.
Because
and him
people
getting a letter off of his jersey is not going to change anything about this team.
Because people who think guys that wear the C, they got to be either Eric Lindros, Wayne Gretzky, or Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
They got to be those guys. Yeah. And Giroux is not that player. He's not. He's a good player. He's not that player.
He's an unbelievable player.
He's an unbelievable player. He's not on the level of Crosby and those other guys, but he's still a good player in his own right. I don't understand. I could do a whole pod on people that hate Giroux.
I could, but it's irrelevant to me.
It really is irrelevant. It definitely is. But when you blame a whole decade on one person and the lack of team that was around him, I don't know where you're coming from. I just don't. It's like you said, Chris, it's irrelevant. And I know like the Giroux hate crowd, it's a bunch of the guys that grew up in the 70s, the 80s style, 90s style of hockey. And those are the guys that don't like Giroux. But times have changed. It's at that point. Man, I know that was a whole tangent. And then we got Bobby Stevens saying blaming the guy with the C on his jersey for bad or good is like firing the equipment manager to give the team a spark. This takes the team to win. Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. It's I
4 coaches, same shit on ice. Well, what does that have anything to do with Giroux?
Ed, you've been waiting for 45 years to win a Stanley Cup. Boo-hoo. I haven't seen a Stanley Cup in my life, and I'm still willing to be patient.
Like,
I hate to call you out, Ed, but you're just being ridiculous at this point.
It's unreal. I mean, I don't know.
But Ed,
I don't understand what the coach
what is your description of being a leader is? What is your description of being a leader? Because you're saying he's got to be a leader. But what is a leader in your opinion?
Just to kind of get off of the topic, what do you do as AV in tomorrow's game? I switch up the lines. I've said this for a while. I would say keep G with Coots and Voracek. I could care less what they do with the rest of it. Just change it. Put Ghost back in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Tales of a Failed Life just said, without Drew and Voracek over the years, we'd be in a Buffalo-style drought. It was literally just them. My dad is like around the same age as you, Ed, and my dad doesn't blame Giroux for anything. He loves Giroux. He doesn't think it's the problem. And like my dad will probably be here in a couple minutes if you want him to express his opinion. It's just like I hate to point it out, but like it's annoying at this point when it's hey Ed.
Apologies.
What did he say?
No, nothing. He said his phone died.
Okay. And I know
like, my phone died. Don't think I bitched out on that conversation.
Oh man. And we're watching the Edmonton, the Battle of Alberta game. It's currently 2-0 Edmonton at this point.
And is that 9-0 too?
No, it's 2-0 Edmonton. That's a great comment, Tails. Oh god. Oh my god.
All right, everybody stop shitting on my dad. Let's get on to a different topic.
Yeah. Let's. I was just calling him out because I thought I didn't agree with his opinion. About
no,
Giroux.
it's fine. I don't care.
It's just like, what do you think about just like changes this team needs? Like this team just needs changes, and I don't know what changes.
Change the lines.
Besides change the lines.
I don't know what to tell you. Change the lines. That's all I got to do. Play better. I mean, it's not hard. Play like you actually deserve to play in the NHL. Like, AV brings up the leadership here in the quotes, and says, let me find it.
And YK put a mention of what he thinks the line should be. So he says his first line should be Couturier, JVR, and Farabee. His second line should be Hayes, Lindblom, and Konechny, Giroux, Patrick, and Voracek on the third line, then Raffle, and Albe Kubel on the fourth line. What do you think about those line combinations?
JVR, Coots, Farabee, nope, break it up. Lindblom, nope. No. I'm going G, Coots, Voracek, Hayes,
Do you think JVR?
Famby,
Okay.
Patrick, Konechny, Lindblom,
And then,
Raffle, Lawton, Albay, Kubel.
so you just mix. So some of the lines stay the same, and some of the lines get mixed up a little bit.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm just like, I don't like. I know, guys. Like tonight really sucks just because of how bad that game was. It was just a bad performance. It was just a bad game. Bad game. And right now it's like what Chris said earlier. The Flyers haven't played a good game all year.
No.
And they just like,
which is weird because they still have a winning record.
It is weird.
So it kind of does show that they're still a good team, but you've been embarrassed. You played like you could play like a good team, but you can't do it consistently, and you don't do it enough.
Yeah. It's still like boggles my mind. Like I know we brought this up already about the Niskanen situation. It still like boggles my mind how one guy lost changes the entire defensive core in the way they play. It's just weird. Like don't you find that weird?
I find it very strange. I don't know what it is anymore, man. Like I don't know what to say. I am dumbfounded about how this team cannot play better.
I am absolutely dumbfounded. I agree with you, man. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And remember the I think it was during the year Hackstall got fired. Remember the blowout that they had to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that was the game after Hackstall got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got a comment right here from Bryce saying like this game feels exactly like that one. Even though I still don't think AV is going to get fired, I just don't think that's the realistic opportunity at this point. But this game definitely had that type of feeling because it was a blowout game and the entire team just played terrible, and they got absolutely embarrassed.
I when I made that video, you know who I felt like? Steve Dangle on the 9-2 Nashville video. That's what I felt like.
Just like I don't like describe that video because I don't remember that one at all.
Well, the game was still going on. They scored and his wife like screamed out, "Oh, it's 9-2 now." So that was funny. Because do you know why? I didn't want to stop watching that game. I wanted to keep watching. It's not like I don't like just give up. You know what I mean? Like if they start playing bad, I just don't watch. Like I watch every game, regardless of the score.
Yes,
I've watched the 6-1 game to the end, the other 6-1 game, the 7-3 Tahoe game. But like, I'm not watching a game that's 9-0. I'm not. There's no point. It's a waste of a half an hour of my life that I'd love to get back. That was a waste of 3 hours of my life I'd love to get back, actually.
I completely agree with you.
I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. Just come back tomorrow. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it's what you said earlier that at this point it's a broken record. Because you said we've said the same thing so many times throughout this season. Bad defensive play, leaving the goalies out to dry, especially tonight. Still I'm not worried about this team's ability to score even though we got shut out tonight. But it's just that something just doesn't feel right. It just does. It goes to the defense because this year it's last year compared to this year, it's night and day compared to how good it was last year with the defense and how bad it is this year with the defense. And it continues to go with, I just don't know how bad it can get. And it's what we've been talking about too. This is coming to the point where Fletcher really needs to pick up the phone, address where he's at right now with the team, and just figure out what he can do to fix this team. Because I know a lot of things are going to be difficult just because, yes, you still do have to factor in every move with the expansion draft. Yes, you still have to, like, not many teams are probably willing to make trades either because you got the player that comes over from a trade has to go into quarantine. So you're not going to be having that player for a couple of games or something like that. So you got to go with that risk factor and say the guys that the Flyers pick up and maybe he has some term left on his contract. Like, then you have to deal with, okay, like, do we run the risk of leaving this guy exposed with the expansion draft? Because that's like one of the situations that you run in with Matthias Ekholm. If you go out and get a guy like him, he's got another year on his contract after this. If I am to be correct, is that right, Chris? So what happens, like, say if they do get Ekholm and he has that year left?
You risk losing Myers.
Yeah, you risk losing Myers or Sanheim. You risk losing one of those two.
You protect all 4 of them, and you risk losing 3 more forwards.
Yeah.
Lawton, Voracek,
JVR maybe.
JVR. Because you already have to protect G.
And Hayes because of the no movement clause.
You
got to protect Hart.
Couturier, and you're obviously protecting Konechny. So, take your pick.
Yeah.
I'm going 7-3-1.
Yeah.
And they got to do something.
And then you also get into the standpoint, does Fletcher try to do something with Seattle and just try to, like, make a move, say, hey, like, we don't want you to pick this guy, but we'll trade you this guy in return.
I don't know.
Maybe something like that. I know that's still, like, so long down the road, but right now, like you said, Chris, tomorrow is going to be the halfway point of the season for the Flyers, their 28th game. And they haven't played a full, I know, like, it's a broken record. And majority of the stuff we're going to be saying in this podcast tonight, that we have been saying tonight, has been a broken record.
I still can't believe they lost that game 9-0.
I know.
I can't believe it.
And it's funny too, because I think Charlie O'Connor wrote something in The Athletic, something about the trade deadline and the thing that the Flyers are doing with, like, because you know how, like, so many days they send guys down to the taxi squad and they call people up at the way they're banking cap space. So apparently, since they keep doing that, they might not have to trade a roster player for someone if they just want to bring someone in. Because he explained it. I'm still very confused on how it was, but the way he explained it is,
how does that work?
I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. It's apparently with the consistent, like, sending down and calling guys up for game day, it's doing something to the salary cap, and it's giving the Flyers, I guess, some leniency in the cap space or something like that. Like, I would have to read the article again, but that's, like, the summary that I got from Charlie O'Connor, the article, when I read it a couple of days ago. Like, I don't remember it to the full extent, but it was something like that. But you never, like you said, Chris, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know.
No, you don't. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
This team sucks. They suck. Oh my god. Wow. I cannot believe
that game happened.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, you're at that point where you're just speechless and you don't know what to say anymore.
What else can I say? I've said everything I can say.
I know. And I feel you wholeheartedly. It's like there's been so much built up frustration with this team, like, especially over the last stretch. We brought this up at the beginning of the podcast. The beginning stretch of March. Your important stretch against the Penguins. You lost 2 out of 3 of those games. You went to another tough stretch with the Capitals. You lost all 3 of those games. You won one against Buffalo during that stretch. You won the first game against the Rangers. And now you got your asses handled to you tonight. Just really handled to you. 9-0 handled to you. It's Rangers come out of the first period 2-0, and then you allow them to score 7 goals in the second period. That's unheard of. That is so unheard of. And Samantha, like, this game made my stomach physically churn.
I lost IQ points watching this.
It sucks. It really sucks. We got Jack in the chat saying, I think that it was a great effort all around tonight. Defense was amazing and offense was clicking. Hart and Elliott played amazing. If we keep playing
Good
like
one.
this, we just may win a cup. I love the sarcasm.
Jack, what game did you watch?
I think he maybe had one too many and he saw it the other way. And we got Tales of a Failed Life saying, watching the Oilers Flames game. Have the Flyers played with the intensity either of these teams are playing with once this season? I mean, yeah, definitely there's been a problem with physicality this year. Yeah, the physical presence definitely hasn't been there with the team. Even though, like, I'm not the one to think that physicality is the only issue with this team. Like, the main issue with this team is team defense. Yeah, it would be nice to have those guys that play a little bit physical. Yeah, you think a guy like a Sanheim or a Myers, the way they're built, you would hope those guys can at least not get run over on a consistent basis. Like hell, on the second Rangers goal, like he fell over trying to go after Claude Lemieux. And just Sanheim and Myers in general tonight just being a -6 on the board. Like, they haven't been consistent, although the entire team hasn't been consistent all season. But, like, I hate singling out players, but, like, those are the two that stood out to me, like, besides the entire team. Like, if you know
It's
what I mean.
the worst game the two of them have had in their career.
Yes. Yeah, and
just
Jason.
pairing together.
Yeah, and Jason, just to follow up on your question, they were on the ice for 6 of the goals tonight, so they were -6.
I think Sanheim might have been 7.
He might have been 7.
Yeah.
So I think the last time I saw they were both -6. I'm not sure if he was a -7, but I could be wrong about that. And then we got a comment from Steven sit here
Tyler
saying,
Pitlick is not doing anything about this team.
yeah,
Like,
Steven
I
doesn't
could
care.
care less about losing Tyler Pitlick. I'd rather have Albert Cabell.
Yeah. And we got the Penguins fan in the chat tonight. It's like literally called the Penguins fan. Let's go Rangers. Okay. Hello, buddy.
How original.
He's joining in our misery, and he's probably loving it. But not gonna care. And we got Davies in here saying, "Do you think giving Zamula a shot might be a good change? Not a team changing thing, but just to get a different player out there entirely."
He's not signed. They'd have to sign him.
Yeah.
He's not on the ELC.
Oh, he's not on his ELC.
No. Or wait,
So-
is he?
No, he is. If he's playing with the Phantoms.
When the hell did they sign Zamula? I am so stupid. That was years ago. Take that back.
Yeah, don't corrupt my mind with that thought.
I'm sorry. I'm really annoyed and I'm not thinking straight. Yeah, Zamula, I am such an idiot. Zamula is on his ELC. I mean, they could. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it does anything. I don't think it's. I don't think you need to call up a rookie when you're trying to contend for a cup. So you could. I don't think they'll do it though. I would rather them call up Wisdom.
Yeah, I still don't think that they see Zamula as just ready yet. They want him conditioned down in the AHL, just get him a full season down there. So I don't expect them to call him up. It's like if someone wants to say when the NCAA tournament for college hockey ends, I do expect a guy like a Cam York because he's been fantastic this season for Michigan. And I do expect him to sign his ELC at the end of the season. Do I expect him to be on the Flyers immediately after the NCAA tournament ends? No, maybe he just goes right to the Phantoms. But I do think York is a guy that you see in the lineup next year on the main squad. I don't see him playing a game this year because I wouldn't want to throw him into this dumpster fire so far on the defense. I'd rather just have him conditioned down there. Just get him the right playing style down in the AHL, and then you can worry about Cam York in that situation. And then we got Chris Dunn saying, "What happened to Patrick? Did he get hurt?" It's I know
I didn't watch the rest of it.
It's just I know a lot of people have problems with Patrick this year. I've been hard on him a lot too.
No, I don't think he's actually
no.
I think he's did Patrick get hurt? Legitimately, is he hurt?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I remember seeing him out there during the third period
Because I didn't watch the rest of it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, even though just to get I know I've been hard on Patrick this year. I still want to try to give the kid at least a break just because he's missed a year and a half of hockey because of his migraine issue. So I want to still give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I'm still being hard on him, just because it's the combination of it's a very shortened season, and he's I know AV's not putting him in the best possible situation playing on the fourth line consistently, and it kind of feels like the same situation with James Van Riemsdyk last year when JVR was consistently playing with guys like Walton and Raffle mainly like guys on the third line and the fourth line, and JVR didn't have a good year last year. And this year, being put out there with guys like Couturier, Farabee, and JVR is thriving from it. So, like, that's, like, where my little bit of hope for Patrick still comes in. Because, one, yeah, he's still incredibly talented, and he's still, 21, 22 years old? So, like that hope for Patrick is still there for me, even though I've been insanely hard on him this year. But the hope still lies there. It's just, I don't know, man. Then Steven said, what's the deal with Zamula? I stopped watching this team 4 games ago. You can see something is wrong. I mean, Zamula is down playing with the Phantoms. I know the Phantoms, they haven't played the past few games just because there's like the teams that they're playing, they're going through a bit of COVID-related issues. I know it was I think it was Ottawa's minor league team that's going through a little bit of COVID issues. So the Phantoms game got canceled today, and it's being rescheduled for a later date. And I think the Phantoms play this weekend against Wilkes-Barre. So the Phantoms will be back in action this weekend. So, and then we got a comment from Ryan saying, Flyers need to make it a goal. Every player who comes here is a very defensive-minded player who is very fast and all-around make an amazing skater. Build this system and team full of them.
Just go to the next question.
Hey, Sean, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Great night for Philly sports. I know the Sixers.
Oh, God, don't even get me started.
Oh, man.
I'd rather sit here and pour bleach into my eyes.
I haven't heard from you in a while, Sean. Yeah, Dawson, it's what I brought up. The time Patrick keeps getting put on the fourth line, getting 7 to 8 minutes a night with guys that are not very skilled in their fourth line style players.
Exactly. It's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, and Sam, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, Devils are going through a COVID issue with their minor league system. So, yeah, and the Phantoms are going through that because, like, a lot of their games have been getting canceled. So, yeah, Sunday is a possibility for them. We got Carter saying, that was a close one. What a joke. Yeah, man. Tonight's game sucked. And, like, yeah, this is, like, not the bet. Like, this is basically just a venting your frustration style of episode. Just let everything on the line. It's not the best styled podcast episode to date, but who cares? We're just venting our frustration at this point. Chris is probably the most frustrated guy in the room so far because sometimes he does lose track of his thoughts. It's just that kind of night when you lose like that, and you just gotta let the anger out. You can't blame me though, can you? No, I can't. I'm not blaming you at all. Oh man,
Amedeo.
Yeah,
this team sucks.
Oh man.
Nothing.
And then Jack saying, do any of you guys know if the Flyers rage room is open? I don't think it is, sadly.
Screw COVID. I'm going to go in there.
Oh, man. Then Chris Dunn says, did we show any heart at all? I missed the game. No.
Not an ounce.
Not an ounce. When you lose 9-0, they had no heart to show. No heart. No heart. It was just
not even Carter Hart could do anything.
Yeah, it's just not. Then we got Steven saying here, not that he's the end, that he's the be all end all, but Raffle went down, and maybe it's a complete coincidence, but his absence is a death below. The fall off is the problem with. Well, I know Raffle. Raffle hasn't been like the same style guy this year. Like, there's a lot of guys on this team that aren't playing really to their expectations. Mainly the defense.
It sucks when you don't have a guy like Raffle because he's a guy that does everything right and can play any position on the ice. So it sucks, but it's not a bad point. It's just it's not the reason why they're playing bad. I mean, they're playing bad because they have no defense. That's their issue. It's not.
And I would say also somewhat of the issue too is the depth is definitely not the same as last year. Like
they have guys hurt.
Yeah,
like you have 2 guys coming off injuries. One had COVID and cancer in Lindblom, and Patrick had migraine disorder and had like a year and a half, almost 2 years off where he couldn't physically train the way he wanted to. That's not easy to come back from, but they're not putting them in good positions to do anything.
Yeah, they're not.
Like, I don't know. I don't agree with benching Lindblom. I don't agree. I don't think Andrioff would have done it. I don't think Oscar would have done anything more or less than Andrioff put into tonight, regardless if the score ended differently. So I don't get it. I don't understand Patrick. I don't know.
Dawson saying, can we put Hart with the Phantoms and maybe Patrick or just Kobe in the way? Like, I just don't see them putting him on the Phantoms at all, because I know there's like a whole,
that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Because you got to quarantine them, and I just don't see it happening in general. Like, if you want to give the guy confidence down and just playing down there in the AHL, just get his game back, like, maybe that's an option, but I don't see it happening. That's just something I don't, and also like one of the other worst luck case scenarios that Frost got injured at the beginning of the year too. So really, it's been just a year of like rotten luck for this team. It just feels like it. It just absolutely feels like it. It just, man, it's like I said. And then Sean saying neither Sanheim and Myers deserve the dress next game. Not that those two are the only guys that suck, but they were pure manure tonight. Yeah, Sean, they weren't good. They weren't good when you're on the ice for 6 goals.
I wish they could scratch 6 of the 8 defensemen. Just play the game with 2D.
Play the game with just Provorov.
Yeah, pretty much. Play with Provy and go. See how it goes.
Oh, man. I just... Like, I know Provorov said he can log 60 minutes when he wants to, if he has to one night, but I don't want to see that as a reality. I just don't want to see that as a reality, man. We got the VR zone saying it's starting to get embarrassing wearing all of my Flyers hoodies around, man. Yeah, it's frustrating. I can understand the frustration. It's just a really frustrating time to be a Flyers fan right now, just because the team isn't playing to our expectations of them and their expectations. It's broken record. Defense sucks. The defense sucks. It's completely a 180 from last year. And there's nothing more you can say about that. And the Penguins fan is showing a little sympathy for us. He's not a Flyers fan, but he felt really bad for them after what he saw. The team lost 9-0. Like, how can you not feel bad for them? How do you not feel bad for guys like Moose and Hart? Like, they had to be in front of that slot tonight.
What is there to feel bad about? No one's sorry for them.
I'm sorry for Hart and Moose. That's the only guys I'm sorry for.
Sure. But no one's sorry for them. If they don't make the playoffs, nobody's going to sit there and, say, it's all right. It's on them.
Yeah.
It's on them. You're halfway through the year. Wake up. The fact that you aren't is a joke. It's terrible. No one is going to be sorry for this team if they miss the playoffs this year. No one.
And YK, I don't think we're overrating Myers. I know he's just struggling. He's struggling. I know he had 3 goals to start. He's not this offensive dynamo defenseman.
You said my point in your question. He's undrafted. And he's in the NHL.
Yeah.
Playing top 4 minutes just about every night. He's young. He'll be fine.
Yes, he'll be fine. A lot of the young guys on this team will be fine. A lot of these guys are just having bad years. And sadly, it's just happening all around at once. Hart's not having the best of seasons, and granted, majority of that's also related to how bad the team defense has been playing. And it's kind of screwing over with his confidence. And the way the team keeps playing, I don't see his confidence getting any better. Unless he just magically somehow carries the team upon his back and he just somehow gets his confidence lifted in a magic bottle. I don't see it happening right now. It's just... And we got Matt saying, having fun there, Chris? Because I don't think you're having fun.
No. Hi, Matt. No, Matt, I'm not having fun. This is aggravating. This sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Unreal.
And it definitely feels a little bit like a Hackstall type of situation where you're in the struggle right now, then you're going to have to fight your way to get back into the playoff spot. It's just... This team has got to find. I don't know how you look yourself in the mirror after this kind of game. I don't know how you do it.
No,
you completely sucked from it. I guess you can only say the benefit from tonight is you play tomorrow. I guess that's the only thing you can say. You play tomorrow night. I mean, like, is that the only thing you can say after this kind of loss, Chris?
Yeah. Regardless if you play, whatever day you play, that would be my guess is come back next game.
Yeah.
All you can say. No, again, no one's going to feel sorry for them. You can only sit there and say like two things. And that's, we're going to keep doing this or we're going to wake up.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's up to them. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's up to them. I don't know.
It's in Steve. I don't think it's AV losing the team. I just don't see that as possible. How can you lose a team after one season? And it's like what you just said there too. There's no way it can go that south from coaching that quickly. I don't see that as possible. How he lost the team already.
I don't think he did. But I think there might be some eyebrows raised if you lose a game 9-0 like you did.
And Dawson, after the fifth goal they scored, they put Hart in. So they pulled Moose after the fifth goal, and Hart stayed in the rest of the game. So Hart allowed 4 goals tonight. So Ellie allowed 5, Hart allowed 4. So, like I was gonna say after the 4th goal, pull Moose
pulled Moose after the 6th goal.
I thought they pulled him after the 5th goal
or the 5th.
Yeah. So Hart allowed 4 goals.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't count 6 as being 1. I just counted 6 through 9 and said 3.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't blame you. It was a frustrating night, and your brain is scrambled. All of our brains are scrambled. It's one of those days. It's one of those nights. It's one of those games. And sadly, one of those games turned out to be an incredible shit show where you lost 9-0. It sucks. And I think, and I like this comment, Sean. Rumor was Brian Boucher was getting ready to go in net tonight. But maybe in the back of his mind, he wanted to. Actually, maybe not. He doesn't want to play behind his defense. I'll probably take that back. He probably doesn't want to do that. So it sucks right now, everyone. It definitely does. But the Flyers, they have a game tomorrow night against the New York Islanders. They got to find a way to bounce back. And hopefully, I'm not jinxing anything right here because I want to be. I'm gonna knock on wood and just say that for some reason I do expect the Flyers to win tomorrow. Just because this loss was so bad that somehow this team is probably going to win tomorrow. And for tomorrow's game, I would expect them just to put Hart in net. Not sure if they're going to put Moose in. You just never know. Never know what AV right now. Which goaltender he's going to put in. I expect Hart. But we'll find out tomorrow. And I guess at that point, we just got to find out and see. So I guess Chris to get off for the night. I think we need to end it right here just so we can relax for the rest of the night because tonight just sucked. Tonight really sucked.
Yep. Terrible. Just
yes, tomorrow. Sean, I know I'm crazy. But listen to me.
Don't call me crazy too. I could care less.
And everyone, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Flyer Up Podcast. And this was a definite episode of us, just for everyone here in the chat, us two here in the podcast, just releasing frustration. Not the best executed podcast, but I don't care. I don't care. It's just releasing the frustration of this team because this team has been absolutely frustrating the entire season.
Anyone would like to do it better, I can gladly come sit down. Yeah. This is going to be and Sean, you can watch Chris's post-game recap. He already has it uploaded on YouTube where he's just screaming for 5 minutes. It was up at 2 minutes left of the second period.
Yeah, so Sean, you can go and watch that. Not sure if I'm going to do my recap. I probably am going to. But yeah, this is going to do it here for this episode of the Flyer Up Podcast. The Flyers play tomorrow against the Islanders. And let's just see what happens at this point. I have no more energy left with the team currently. And it's going it's gonna be interesting. So, everyone, thank you for joining tonight. I'm your host, Amedeo Grassia, along with my partner, Chris Maher. Don't forget to subscribe to TPL everywhere you can. Don't forget to subscribe to Chris's YouTube channel, Flyers Fan Mania 93. Don't forget to subscribe to mine, TTP Sports. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias. For me, Amedeo Grassia 98. For Chris on Twitter, _Chris Maher. And just thank you for tuning into this episode. And don't forget to stay with us for next episode. And thank you guys for joining, and see you later.